y'all, this is HillbillyROandD, and I'm Hillbilly Ro, or just Ro. Y'all come on in, we're going to make a chocolate cream pie my way. Now in this I do call for chocolate. I have semi-sweet. You can use 60% Cocoa Patch chocolate, or if you want a little tartar you can go even higher. But in my pie I also use baking chocolate, the powdery form. So if you've yet liked and subscribed to our page, please do so. And on that note, let's get to making this pie. Because you know a fat girl like a pie, especially a fat country girl. So in this pan over here, I am going to mix 2 cups of milk and 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And we want our pan on medium. You don't want to bring this up too high because you'll scorch your milk. We are going to add 1½ cups granulated sugar and 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. With that, you're also going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. And of course you're going to want that 1/4 teaspoon of salt in there too, which is right here. So you're going to want to whisk, because you're going to want to whisk this together. And as you're whisking, you're trying to get all the clumpies out. You don't want no clumps. And this takes about 5 to 10 minutes to do this process. And then we're going to temper some eggs. Now some people's recipes, and I have checked, go ahead and put their egg yolks in here. Well y'all, I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. I do not add my 5 egg yolks, which here are 5 egg yolks. I do not add them in until I get that tempered. And I'll show you how to temper your eggs. Because if you do it that way, you have to get a strainer, one of these, and strain your pudding through. And that's just an unnecessary step. It's easier just to temper your eggs. So we're going to get this mixed in here, and we'll be right back. Now as this is starting to heat up, we are going to roughly chop 6 ounces of chocolate. Now this is baker's chocolate and it's semi-sweet, but if you look, it's 4 ounces. So you want 1½ of these to get your 6 ounces. So I just take it, and it don't have to be pretty, it don't have to be perfect. You just kind of want to chop it up, because when you go to put this in, you're going to put this in at the end, so it's harder for you to go through and chop this as your pie is cooling or your mixture is cooling. So the finer you get it, the less clumpy it's going to be, and the less time it's going to take you to get this melted into your chocolate or your pie filling. And I always have my ingredients ready before I turn on my camera, but this, I thought some people might need to see it, because if you try to remake this pie, then you'll know that that's a lot of chocolate, but it is semi-sweet. So we're still stirring this. Now, we're going to bring this to a boil and let it thicken. once it comes to a boil, you're going to let it boil for 60 seconds. And then you can pull it off the oven. You can add your chocolate. And I'm adding coffee extract in here. Some people add vanilla extract. I add coffee extract because coffee does give a better flavor to your chocolate. It gives it it's a different flavor. So we're going to let that warm up.
We ended up using
I'm going to add an
1/4
of a teaspoon
to 1/2
of cayenne
of a
pepper to
teaspoon of this cayenne pepper.
Mr. D likes things hot. It will be a little spicy, but not enough to burn if you have a child. They might not like the heat. But this will give you a little spice to go with your chocolate. Now once this comes to a simmer, we will temper our eggs to put in there. And I got my eggs already over here and beat up. I beat them up because they were bad. Had to be a bully with them. But once this comes to a simmer and you see the bubbles forming around it, we're going to temper the egg. So this is warm. So we're going to hold this bowl in our hand. We're going to take this somewhat off the heat because we're going to temper these eggs. And what that means is we're going to take this hot extract and we're going to pour it in here. And we're going to beat that in. And the reason why we do this is because if we would pour this in with the hot liquid, it would cook the egg and you would have a scrambled egg in your pudding. Now some people, they do not go through this step. They go ahead and add the eggs when they start. However, if you do that with a cream pie, you have to strain your egg. Or you have to strain your pudding mixture. And I'm lazy. I'd rather do this than strain it. And you're going to feel on the bottom of your hand that hot bowl. And when it gets warm, you've done your job. And I do this about 3 times, sometimes 4. And right now, I'm going to do 4 just in case. Because I want this to come out awesome. And that was 5 egg yolks. Pull this back on the container. What is that? Oh, it's chocolate. I thought, what is on the bottom of my stove? And as you're doing this, pour it in slowly, but really give that a good whisk. You do not want scrambled eggs in your pie. I don't care who you is. Unless you're making a quiche for breakfast, you don't want scrambled eggs in that pie. And yeah, this hillbilly knows what a quiche is. And I didn't know that until I got married and my husband made one. I ain't gonna lie. So I got chocolate. Oh, can't deal with that because that'll drive me nuts. I'm always wiping as I go. Because I am half blind. And if I don't do it, then I forget. So we're just going to mix this until it comes to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, we're going to continuously stir this. But I'll bring you back then. 3 hours later. Now I did spicing this up. I put 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of this, which is cayenne pepper. Mr. D likes stuff spicy, so I figured I'd make him a spicy chocolate pie. And I've never seen nobody else do this. So it's unique. I like being unique and different. And of course I'm still here stirring. But at the end of the day, I'm making this for Mr. D. I'm not a big chocolate fan. And him and my daddy love chocolate. My daddy wouldn't eat this because it's spicy, y'all. I hope it's so spicy that when he goes out to poo in the woods, he causes a forest fire. But he likes stuff like that. So we're going to sit here and stir this. 6 hours later, you know that SpongeBob cartoon, 3 hours, but 6 hours later. Yeah, that's the way I feel. Now she is finally starting to thicken up. She hasn't come to a boil yet. When she comes to a boil, you want to constantly stir so it don't stick. And my key in making one of these pies is I don't take it off until I know it's thick enough to make a pudding. Now she is starting to get thick, y'all. Yeah, she's getting real thick. Finally, y'all. Praise the Lord. Now you can see when I take her through, she's making those. That's what pudding looks like. So I'm going to set my alarm here. And we're going to constantly stir this. As it thickens up, it is getting really thick, y'all. But that's what you want. You do not want to pull this off the stove if it's not thick, because if it's not thick now, how you expect it to set up in your refrigerator? It's not going to do it. So she getting thick, see? I'm going to go ahead and add in my 2 teaspoons of coffee extract. Now I make my own extracts. So if you want to know my coffee extract, it's in one of the videos back when I first started this channel. I did extracts, and that gives it an aroma that's unbelievable. That aroma that you put in there is just, for some reason, that extract in chocolate is like a slice of heaven. So it's been a minute, so I'm gonna add my butter in. We're gonna get that mixed in there. You'll make sure it's all mixed in there real good. Now you can turn your heat down, because you know she's gonna be thick enough to make a pudding. But once you pull this off the burner, you're going to let it set for 15 minutes so it can get all combined really well. Now I just added that 6 ounces of chocolate. Now she's getting really thick. You see that, y'all? That's what you want. You want that to be thick, thick. So once that's all added in there, and you make sure there's no clumps in there, turn your stove completely off. Well, I told you to shut up. I thought I turned my phone off. I didn't. So see how thick she is? Like, she pudding thick. You just want to make sure it's thick enough that when you put it in that pie, it's going to work. Because if it don't work here, it's not going to work there. Make sure I got all that coffee extract out of there. I did. So we're going to pull this off the burner, and we're going to let her go for 15 minutes. You just let her cool down for 15 minutes, y'all. Okay, this is set for 15 minutes, and this is what it looks like. Now we're just going to pour that in this pie shell. Make sure we get it all out, because there's some on the sides. Now my pie shell is a 12-inch, and this pie makes a perfect 9-inch. But I should have made 2 batches. But with just me and Mr. D, there ain't no sense in me making all the sweets. So now, got all that done. Now to make sure your pie don't get that skim on the top, you just take some saran wrap and you put over it. And I'm gonna have Mr. D come in here and try this pudding. So you just push it down lightly and then just fold it over the edges. Okay. Mr. D, you want to come in here? So here's Mr. D, as y'all know. Y'all seen him before, I think.
Hey.
So I got a little bit on the spatula. So I'm going to let him lick it clean.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's spice it a little bit.
A little bit. Just at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little spice. That's good.
Well, see, most people that burn their rectum out.
Mmm. Delicious.
Well, lick it clean. Come on, be a kid. Make me lick it clean like a kid. Used to ask Grandma to lick the spoons clean and spatulas.
Good.
So on that note, we're done making this pie. We're going to put it in the fridge to cool. Some people say for 6 hours. Some people say for 5 hours. I say let it cool just until the bottom's cool. Once the bottom's cool, you should be safe to cut it. But preferably you would make this for maybe the next day. Now Mr. D walked out on me. He's fired. Fired, y'all. Fired. I fired him. You're fired. But on that note, y'all, as I always say, be humble. We all are going through this world alone. Even if you're in a relationship, you have issues. We always want something different. We always want something new. We always want something bigger and better. Want a better job. Want a better... Just be humble. Be glad for what you have, because it could tomorrow change in the blink of an eye. Say your prayers and pray for your friends and even your enemies. But above all else, put God first. And as Mr. D says,
We'll see you in the next one.
bye y'all.